Hello and welcome. It's another Destiny's Dispatch, and we're quite excited about today, aren't we, Dean?
Oh, we definitely are. Yes.
In about gods, spheres, and devotions. And one of the reasons we're doing this is because you'll remember we call ourselves Classic Roleplay Reimagined. And this is a real callback to the old classics. But before we get into that, I just want to say hello to all of you in the chat. So I've seen we've got Cam, who was on really early. So it was lovely to see you. We got Savage Brewski, also on really early. And don't forget Paladin Steve. So can I just say, really love seeing you guys. It really means a lot to us, doesn't it, Dean?
Oh, it absolutely does. The support we've got is been tremendous. Thank you.
Yeah, we really do appreciate it. But I've just mentioned a throwback to the classics. And guess what? In Untold Destiny, if you are playing a priest, you have to follow a god.
No.
Yeah, you do. None of this, I'm just going to go and I'm going to play this type of character. No, you have to follow a god. And today we're going to share a few of our gods, and we're also going to run through some of our archetypes. Then we're going to go into some spheres and spells, which will lead lovely on from last week, because last week, of course, we talked a lot about spells for our wizards. And then we're going to go through gods, and we're going to then touch on devotions. So that's what we've got in store for you tonight. And I'm going to, I'm seeing stuff about the god of booze, and it's now making me thirsty. Thank you very much for that one, Savage
Herv
Brewski.
approves. Herv approves.
Herv would approve, you're quite right. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to chat about the archetypes. And then what we're going to do is we're going to shift from that into the actual specifics around some of our classes. Okay, we're not going to go through all of our classes, but we're going to go through some really special ones all around the religions today. So if we look at our archetypes, we have got 4 archetypes. We have got 5 planned, but the 5th one will be coming out later. So the 4 archetypes are warrior, rogue, priest, and wizard. Now, within those, within warrior, we've got 7 classes. Within rogue, we've got 6 classes. Within priest, we've got 5 classes. And within wizard, we've got 6 classes. So we've touched on this a little bit before. But because today we're doing gods, spheres, and devotions, the classes we're going to be chatting about are cleric, inquisitor, druid, mystic, and witch. Those fall within the priest. And then we're going to show you a few that sit outside within the other archetypes, aren't we, Dean?
Yes, we are.
I've just seen Primeval turn up in the chats. Hello, Primeval. And I would just like to say, Paladin Steve. Paladin Steve, I am surprised at you. I am very surprised at you. No, they can't be atheist, Paladin Steve. You go back to the back of the class and go and eat frazzles with everybody else. Shocked. Shocked I am. Shocked. Aren't you shocked, Dean?
I'm fairly shocked, but yes. Shall we continue?
Oh, I was telling off Paladin Steve. You're spoiling all my fun. So in that case, I'm going to do some sharing. I'm going to pass over to Dean. He's going to talk a little bit about more in depth about some of our archetypes and classes. If I can find the share button. Oh, I think I've just seen a Michael turn up. Yes,
Oh,
Michael,
hiya,
he's been
Michael.
very naughty. He said that priests can't be atheists. Very disappointed with him.
Yes, you should have used the sarcasm font or the sarc mark, I think they called it back in the day. Never took on,
They
though.
tried. They did, didn't they? They tried doing that one.
Right. Have you got your share up and running?
I will be in them pressing buttons and talking.
There we go.
Okay. Over
So
to you.
that's fine. We've dropped off screen, but I think that's to give this a bit more space. So there we go. We popped
There
back
we
on the
go.
screen. Yes. So yes,
Can you
having
guys in the chat, could you just let me know if that's big enough or if I need to make it a little bigger? Because I can make it a bit bigger.
if you make it a bit bigger, and we'll start at the top, shall we?
Yeah.
Oh no! You want to make it a bit bigger. Oh,
That's what they all say.
that's too big. Too big. Quick, back out. There we go.
Well, that's nice, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay, but we're on the witch now, Henny. We need to be on the priest to begin with.
Bear with me. Technical difficulties. Chair to keyboards interface issue. It's fine, but you've named everything Destiny's Dispatch, so I can't see the
Yeah, but
separate ones.
it's number one. Number one.
You can't see number one in the way that you've done it. So that's just D-, must do better.
Okay.
See myself after school. Na, 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 na.
Do you want me to quickly rename them?
No, don't. I will be there now. It's the paladin. I seem to like the witch. I seem to have. Why do I have the witch twice?
I don't know.
Neither do I.
But cleric is definitely number one. So if you got your folders, files in alphabetical order, it'll be the top one.
I'm just laughing now.
No.
I've just got the giggle loops. You got no chance.
Okay, come on.
I'm going to blame the person who.
No, because you said you had these all lined up. You should be able to,
I
in
did.
photo, press left and right, though, to just navigate through, and you just hit
I do.
left.
And then I get witch, then I get paladin, then I get witch again.
Well, that's weird. Okay, shall we just move on then?
I'm finding it. It's all right. Everyone will just laugh at us in the chat
I've renamed it cleric.
He's getting huffy now, guys. Gonna get me all into trouble.
Psycho says hi. Oh, that's lovely.
Trouble.
Thanks, Steve. Have you got it now? No?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. But I opened it in Paint.
I don't know what you've opened it in.
I did. I know exactly what I opened it in. I opened it in Paint, which is not something I want to do. There we go. Look at that one. Well, that'll do beautifully. Right, so we move over to, we say, little replacey thing. You see, this is what happens when I actually plan things out properly at the beginning. Something's bound to go wrong.
There we go, cleric. And we can do a bit of a zoom in, and I'll talk through. There we go.
There we go. Look, see, I got there in the end.
Not a problem. So the cleric, and then my voice goes, the cleric.
Because you're too busy going,
I know.
Grumpy.
The cleric is our base class when it comes to playing a religious character within the game. So whilst it's one class, you get to choose a god, and that god will dictate so many abilities and benefits you get as a cleric. So consider the cleric more multiple classes based on each of the gods, because they do alter the class quite a bit. But as standard, clerics have, in fact, all priests have a D10 hit dice. So as well as your hit points from Constitution, you roll a D10 and you gain that every level. You've got stamina, you've got spell points, and you'll note there Priests also have saving throws. They're really good at avoiding gaze attacks and pretty decent against contact and spell attacks. 2 seconds. I do apologize for that.
See,
Oh, my
Dean's voice
throat.
fails him, and I can't find stuff on the screen. We both get a D minus. Must do better. See you all after school, don't we?
We do. So all priests have training in spell melee, spell range. So there's certain spells that require either a melee attack or a ranged attack, and it uses those skills. They've got they've got proficiency in armor and shields, so they can use light armor, light shields, and then they can choose 2 other combat skills. So you get this nice splattering. However, your god, the god you follow, will restrict what weapons you can use. So you've got to be careful. You've got to plan ahead. You've got to have a look at the god, have a good understanding of what god you're following, so you know which weapons, which sets of training to do. You've also got proficiency in spellcraft, which is a special skill that is used for anything spell related. So if you're restricted and you're trying to cast a spell and it's got a semantic component, you can make a spellcraft skill test. I believe it is with a greater bane, so it's very difficult. But if you pull it off, you manage to cast the spell without needing to have that semantic component. Obviously, if you have the meta magic still spell, you can cast it without any chance of failure, so long as you spend the stamina for the meta magic bonus feature. You then get a little bit of starting gear, some starting money. I think that's just a nice way to round off the character. And then if we have a look, you will see that we have 20, unlike, if I can just say, unlike some systems out there, we actually have 20 levels, not 6.
No, just because I was going, oh, look at this, and earlier on today, don't be pointy.
I'll try not to be pointy, but with all the classes, and it does vary, but we've tried to upload the abilities of the class so that from first level, you've got a very defined class and a defined character. So our clerics, right up at the top, they have to select a god. That god will give them tenets that they must adhere to. If they fail to adhere to those, then they begin to lose their powers, and then they lose their powers completely, have to go through atonement and the usual things. The cleric gets access to devotion. So these are special bonus features. And you can see there that at first level, you get 4 bonus features you can purchase. And these are things that allow you to customize your character, alter some of your class abilities, add martial abilities, purchase metamagic abilities, stuff like that. So there's, I think, last count, we were well into about 150 bonus features, I think.
Yeah, it's quite high now. It's in the 150 sort of realm.
Round about that.
I reckon we'll be up to about 170 by the time we actually put the books out there.
Yeah, because every day every time we run a game or someone does something, we think, oh God, that would be a good bonus feature. Pop that in there. Bonus features, don't think of them as these big sort of trees that you have to go down. So we haven't got a bonus feature to give you a +1 to attack with a weapon, then +2 damage, then +1 again to attack, and another +2 damage. Where possible, we've tried to make sure that they only go 1 deep. So Whirlwind is a great bonus feature. You can attack anybody in melee with you with 1 attack, but you need Cleave bonus feature to do that. And that's about as deep as we go. So the bonus features are designed to add that bit of oomph to your character. So
it's rounded off, isn't it? It's like sands off the edges. It allows you to create the sort of modify the character to actually suit your vision. So I think that's really key when it comes to Untold Destiny, which is, even though we've got classes and we've got quite a few classes, that is just the beginning. Because then when you start moving into the bonus features, that's what rounds off the classes, gives them the information, allows you to tailor it to how you want to play. And I think that's really important. And I am rather, fully enough, Dav, who's in the chat, was absolutely key in coming up with devotions, wasn't he, Dean?
He was. There was a bit of a brainstorming session, and he came up with the blinder of devotions. I then sort of put it into the rules and made it all work. And um, it we'll touch on some of the devotions later on, but it really does create the uniqueness of the character, and makes priests, just elevates the priest. It brings a lot of the
Absolutely.
godliness to that character. It's fantastic. Okay, so at first level, you're getting a load of stuff. You get information about how to cast divine spells. You reminded again about your weapon restrictions. You use the wrong weapon, and you will lose all your powers. You also get an invoke power, and you can make recovery tests. So, and you get access to first tier spells. And you'll see now we've got this is a full caster. So at 18th level, they get access to 7th tier spells. 7th tier is the most we go to. One of the problems I had trying to have like 9 levels of spells is you dilute certain levels because there's just not enough variation to go across 9. So you end up with some levels just being a little bit lackluster, and others packed full of goodness. I found 7 was absolutely perfect. We managed to get a good splattering of spells because of the way the system worked. A load of spells at first level that scale up, and then some really good ones that come in after. So you can have a look at how your cleric will develop as they gain the levels. They will gain further devotion. This is free devotion. So a cleric gets to pick 2 devotion bonus features, and then they get to pick another one at 5th, 10th, and 15th. They get attribute increases, which everybody gets. Divine intervention is a great ability for the cleric. When the chips are down, when doom is approaching, they can call upon their deity to save them. And it's, once used, you can't use it again, I believe, for a week. So it's one of these abilities you need to choose carefully when you want to use it, and it's normally when you're up against it. And finally, at level 20, your classes get this. You get the option to ascend so long as you have the requisite amount of legend. You built enough legend. So anyway, that's the cleric. It's very straightforward. You get a load of stuff. As you go up levels, your combat and general proficiencies increase, your spell power increases, and you get more and more devotions. Is there
It's
anything?
quite it was quite interesting because Michael turned around and said, that fine tailoring sounds better than character bloats. And I just want to sort of say, having played this now a lot, I love the fact that I can create a character that I've envisioned. I love playing characters. I love creating characters. And there's nothing worse than if you choose a fighter, you're always exactly the same. If you choose a cleric, you're always exactly the same as the last cleric you chose. I love the fact that I can tailor my characters to my visions. I'm an absolute nutter when it comes to creating characters. I like listening to music and a character will pop in my head. Next thing you know, I got the book out and I'm creating another character. And it means that it is just so it just adds so much more. Yes, I know you were teasing, but it does add so much more. And I think it's really, really important to highlight that you can create the character that you want to play. And I will be laying down that gauntlet with you guys as we get closer to doing some character creation sessions where we will say, right, come onto the stream and let's create some characters. All right. So it'll be coming. It will be coming. So you're quite right. Now, one of the things I would like to highlight is that we've said about following a god, but we have got a couple of exceptions, haven't we, Dean?
We do have a couple of exceptions.
And what are those exceptions, Dean?
So the 2 exceptions we have: druids do not pick a god. They follow nature and the call of nature. They can pay lip service to some of the nature gods, and they can choose to follow some of the nature gods, but it is not necessary. They have their own set of tenets that they must follow, and their own code. And that code, no matter who they pay lip service to or follow, that code remains the same amongst all the druids. However, with druids, it comes down to how they wish to enforce what they do. So, in other words, they're the protectors of nature, and some druids will say any meddling with nature is abhorrent and against the natural order of things, and will seek to destroy any human expansion into the wilderness, whilst others will seek to work with the expansion and go, nature has provided resources. If we extract them carefully and we don't over extract, then we're living with nature. So druid itself is a very it's not the neutral class of old, although there's a lot of neutrality within the class. And the second one, plus a vow of property. Yes, yes. We had during our the party had some treasure on Sunday, and they were splitting out the treasure. And Vicky, playing a paladin, which we'll get to in a minute, said, "Oh, don't forget, I got my 10% tithe, so let me know how much my share is." And Dav, who's playing the druid, has a 90% tithe. So druids just do not keep money. They don't keep wealth. Whatever money comes in, they will spend what they need to survive and what they need for themselves. And then 90% of the rest just gets handed out to good causes, or to whichever causes they want. They cannot benefit from them.
I like what you're saying there, Savage Brewski. It's right. We have got um, a lovely sort of character progression, and it feels really nice as you go up the levels. It's great because at first level you're competent and you can actually do stuff and you can have fun, but it's not so scary that the curves that Dean went through before, that you end up ramping up so fast you get sort of mid levels and then everything just becomes unplayable. It actually plays well to the high levels, which is really nice. So yeah, it does work out really quite well.
Yeah, and
So one of those
sorry,
other, sorry, Dean, I'm talking all over you.
you are.
One of those other character classes was witch, wasn't it, Dean?
Yeah, the other one that doesn't follow a god is witch, but a witch will commune with the spirits and ancestors and gain knowledge that way. So that's their sort of, and they don't have tenets either. So a witch is one of these strange classes. They draw upon the divine magics, and in a very unusual way, they have access to their own spell sphere, which contains a lot of hexes and curses, and their class ability. So do you want to scroll down and we can have a look at the
Exactly what I was
Thank
just
you.
doing that, apart from I couldn't remember how to scroll
That's
on
okay.
a picture.
So their class ability is cauldron. And what cauldron means is they can make these potions, and there's a long list that they get to select from, including being able to put like some of their spells into potion form and stuff like that. But they get to make up to 4 potions, and these potions will remain active until drunk. And they can hand them out. They can hand them out to various people. So the potions could be a potion to cure you from being lovesick, or a potion to make someone fall in love with you, and stuff like that. So it's this kind of thing that we're leaning into with the witch. In addition, they get access to divine spells, so it's not just potions; it's spells as well. So if you're playing a witch, you can use your downtime action to bring up your cauldron to brew and create a couple of potions ready for the party on the next day. Um, and then as you go up, the greater cauldron, that's brilliant. You now get access to more powerful potions. And then the superior cauldron, they're amazing potions there. Quantum leap meets weird science.
I'm
Not
not
too
supposed to
sure.
read the chat.
I
It's
know,
my
but it
job.
caught my
My
attention. I
job.
know, I know.
Look at that.
Um,
Yeah,
all
it's
right,
it is
yes.
the witch is actually quite different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, using bonus features, you can expand how many potions you can have active at any one time. So you can go up to 6 potions that you can have live, as it were. But the other thing the witch excels at is being able to put the hexes and curses on enemies. And that means you can afflict them. So you can afflict them with the crippling legs, which is the hamstring condition. So effectively, all the conditions we have, the witch can actually put them on people and inflict people with them, blindness and striking them dumb and stuff like that. So the witch, really fantastic priest class. and is one of the most unusual ones because you don't follow a god. It's one of the exceptions, and you don't have tenets either, or weapon restrictions. But yeah, it's a good class.
You do have to cackle on cue.
You have to cackle on cue. Shall we have a look at the paladin then? Because of course, and you'll
So,
see
no,
see
do
with the witch. Hang on, before we move on, you see with the witch, they only go up to 5th tier spells in the divine
yes.
spells. So they're what I call a 2/3 caster. They're not a full caster, but they're not a minor caster. They kind of fit in that middle ground. And 5th tier, you get access to some really good spells, but it's a bit later before they get it. All the 1st tier spells you get, obviously, they level up with you, so they're still very powerful. But some utility stuff they might miss out, or some more important damaging spells. But then they got their hexes. So, shall we have a look at the paladin quickly before we move on to? So, what's a spell sphere?
Oh, very exciting. There we go. Always helps if I hit the share button. You will zoom in. Hey, Paladin. By the way, just want to say the reason there's gaps sort of down here is because that's where we'll be putting our artwork.
Yes.
Look at this, just for you, Paladin Steve. We're going to talk about paladins.
Yes. So
But they don't sit in the cleric sphere, do they?
No,
in the
they
cleric
don't.
archetype.
They don't. As you can see, they've got a D12 hit dice, so they fall squarely under the warrior archetype. Need
Yeah,
some.
we
Oh,
do.
yes.
I need Dean to just sit in the background going doop 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 doop.
So you'll note they don't get as many spell points, one less than normal, and typically because they are very front line or within combat, they've got other attributes that really go ahead of wisdom, which would be things like strength and constitution, and potentially dexterity. You'll also note they've got 2 very good saving throws against gaze, which is a good one for priests, and against contact, which is a great one for warriors. But for the rest, they've only got 1d20 on their save. So if they're hit with a gaze attack or a contact attack, they roll 3d20, add the appropriate attribute, and get 20 or higher. So you can see they're very resistant, but the other saves are penalized slightly. Great bit of combat training. Again, general training in spellcraft. And they start off with some decent armor, shields. But again, depending on the god you follow, depends on the weapons you can use. So if we scroll down, this is probably one of the classes that has the most stuff as you level up, because they get access to a lot of really funky things. The first thing you'll notice, their spell tiers only go up to 3rd. So they are a 1/3 caster, but they've also got their own spell sphere with some very potent stuff, which we'll have a look at in towards the end. So they've got tenets, they've got access to devotions, but they don't get them for free. They've got to spend their own bonus features to get access to their god's devotions. They've still got to follow the weapon restrictions, but with one exception. They can also wield blades, even if the god does not allow it. And that's part of the training of being a paladin. The sword is a symbol of justice and righteousness, therefore all paladins can use swords. They get things like combat focus, which is a martial thing that enhances their combat power. And again, they become fearless. They get lay on hands. At 3rd level, they can summon a mount. And when we did spells, we discussed summoned creatures and how you can take damage on their behalf and stuff like this. Paladins do that with their mount. So their mount will scale up with the paladin. Its hit points get slightly bigger, and the paladin can take damage on behalf of its mount. If you don't want a mount.
Yes, Dean did just describe the divine powers of a champion of justice as funky.
I did. And they are funky. They're amazing.
Oh, they're awesome. They're absolutely. I'm playing a paladin on the Sunday game, and I absolutely love paladins. And again, I've played a 5th ed paladin, and it was lackluster. Whereas I absolutely love playing a paladin in this game. And when you get to third level and you get your mount or spirit of the steed, which Dean will describe a little bit more on, that's just fantastic. And the way that paladins work with their halos, which we'll be going on to in just a moment, is just superb. It's so much fun to play, and you can be a proper paladin. What's Hang on a minute. We've
There we go.
got,
Oh,
well, what if the paladin in question worships Samuel L. Jackson, has a fro, wears platform, and listens exclusively to Motown? Sounds like we've got lots of Herv followers in the chat today, Dean.
I'm s-
We've got we've had
yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson, and we've had Ozzy Osbourne.
We have. Well, it's a good thing that Herb is one of the gods we're going to be looking at in a minute.
It will be.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Right. So if you yes, I do agree with do you do want to bring that one? Yeah.
Yes, I'm just poking it.
I know. Absolutely agree with that. The one thing I never liked about 5e's paladins is you don't choose a god. You choose a what kind of paladin, whether you're
Yeah.
vengeance or conquest or whatever. And I'm sorry, but that's just wrong right from the start. You got
Yeah,
to choose a
that's a
god.
D minus. Must do
Yeah,
better. See me after school.
yeah,
If you are a paladin, you follow a god.
yeah,
Very simple. You have to choose a god,
yeah.
and you have to choose specific gods, don't you, Dean? You have to
You
choose
do.
certain types,
So
which Dean will be going into in a bit more detail shortly.
absolutely. So to finish off on the mounts, we've been testing them. They work really well. The spirit of the steed is if your mount is not summoned, so you can either choose not to summon it or it gets banished back to its world because of damage. You get Spirit of the Steed, which is an ability to burst your speed forward to avoid attacks of opportunity, to either get back to protect party members or to get forward to engage the enemy. So I wanted there to be, if you didn't want to play with the steed or the campaign wasn't suitable for a mount, that you just didn't lose access to that ability. So the moment the steed comes out, though, you lose access to Spirit of the Steed. You'll note they get their invoke power, but only at 5th level. So all clerics got theirs at 1st level, and we'll go through these in a bit. Paladins have to wait till 5th, same with rangers. But otherwise, they pick up all the staples of the warrior archetype. So the enhanced weapon damage they get. And I think that's probably the only one that's really... so yeah, we covered combat focus, enhanced weapon damage. One of the decisions I made early on was to have no multi-attacks. And that is because when I would sit around the table watching what was going on, the one thing I noted is that the time sinks, early games, the time sinks were typically spellcasters. Late game, the time sink was martial characters that had multiple attacks. And it's just because the multiple attacks, the dealing damage, what's going on here?
Don't like that one.
I don't like that one either.
No. You didn't know what
Do we
that
just
is.
want to return to
There we
that? There we go. The time sink was the multi-attack characters that would be rolling up to 3-4 attacks and then rolling lots of damage, and it just, the game ground to a halt. It was even worse with Pathfinder, where you had the -5, -10, -15s. And then if you hasted on top, it was ridiculous. So enhanced weapon damage, instead of getting a second attack, you gain a dice of weapon damage, and then you get that again at 13th level, which is another two dice of weapon damage. So all martial characters at 13th level get to roll 3 sets of weapon damage instead of the one, and that replaces multi-attack, and it works really well, keeps the game running smoothly. It means at high levels you're not getting that slowdown. So there we go.
I think now we need to go into spheres and spells so that you
I
can
think so.
explain some of these amazing paladin powers that we have. I have to say that you are definitely holy when you're a paladin, and you will definitely be seekers of good and justice. and you will want to drive evil from the land. And that's exactly how we've envisaged our paladins, and that's the way it goes. You cannot play a anti-paladin. That's not here.
No,
All right.
not at all.
So there's none of this. I'm going to be evil, or I'm going to, and there's no such thing as, you can lose your paladin hood, but you get something else cool instead. You use your paladin, lose your paladin hood, you lose access to all your paladin abilities, and that's it. You don't get anything to replace them. So
No.
you want to keep your paladin abilities. In the future, we will be looking at we've mentioned it before, so you want to play the bad guys. There might be something there, but they will never be called paladins. Paladins are good. Full stop. Paladins, good.
Yeah.
Ooh, Savage Brewski said something interesting.
Mm.
So Heath Ledger's character in A Knight's Tale was indeed a paladin. Oh, it's been years since I've seen that film.
That's a good film. Very good film.
That's right. It started off with Queen's We Will Rock You at the beginning, didn't it?
Yes, it does.
That's it. And the first time I tried watching it, I was like, "Oh, I don't see why
how can you have this music in a medieval film?" Yes.
And then I really liked it. So that was, you made fun of me for a while.
Yeah, I did. Heath Ledger's an amazing actor. He will be missed, but I found him one of the really good actors of that time. Yeah. So we've got the Seeker of Serenity, the Protector of Italian Virginity, the one, the only Sir Ulrich von Liechtenstein. You're just trying to make me say long words, aren't you? This is. We know it's late. We're gonna make Vicky mess something up on stream more than she already has done. Thank you for that, Savage Brewski. Right. So we're gonna move on, aren't we? We are. So we've been talking a lot about spell spheres, and I think it's now a good time to talk about what a spell sphere is. And this is the kind of counter to schools of magic that wizards follow. Priests have spell spheres instead. So I have labeled them all. It should be easy to find which one.
Yeah, page.
Yeah, but you got a description then. Okay, yes, so page 3 _ spell spheres.
Yes, something you didn't need to put Destiny's Dispatch at the beginning of it all.
We got which again?
It's late, guys. It is actually 11:30 here, and I have had a full day at work. And we're just going to press buttons.
I think I'll be in charge of sharing.
Shut up! No, this is my job. I have one goddamn job at this ship, and I'm messing it up. Leave me alone. I blame the person who named them.
So, spell spheres.
Yes.
Yes, music playing. I have got music actually. I could play
that. You know something. You're in so much trouble. I cannot see which one's which.
Really? What's wrong with your browser then? Because I've labeled it.
Yes, you've labeled it
_ spell spheres.
Yes, no. And you only see the first 2 words.
Press F5. Refresh your screen. I've renamed them.
Oh, you've renamed them.
Oh, I think Vicky's accidentally closed her browser. I do apologize.
No, you said F5 and it kicked me out.
F5 when you're... It reminds me of the time I was raiding in World of Warcraft, and someone asked for an instruction on how to do something, and someone jokingly went, it's Alt F4, and half the raid disconnected. Right. Are you there?
You can share it. You share it.
You'd like me to share it? Right, let me share it.
Yes, because I can't even, it's not coming up at all for me. I've got about five devotions. I don't know what's going on. You share it.
That's I don't know what's happened to your side then.
I'm going to blame you.
I need to.
Oh, now you are having problems.
I am, because I got a camera in the way.
Maybe I'm the witch. Maybe we should burn me, as I seem to be able to not work the magic today. You need to zoom in, darling.
I'm going to be
I get my
zooming
own
in
back.
now. There we go. How does
Yay!
that look? So, spell spheres. This is needs an artist's touch on it, but it's a representation of the kind of sphere, the ethereal sphere around the physical world. And we have the elemental spheres in the middle. So water, air, and earth sort of bordering on each other. And at the far end, fire. So fire is opposite water, earth is opposite air. At the very top, we have aether. So this is the pure, bright energy. It's full of energy and life. And at the very bottom, we have the void, which is aether that just is anti-life. It's anti-energy. It's everything taken out. So water, as it heads up towards aether, becomes verdant, and as it heads down towards the void, becomes rime, ice, and cold. Air goes up to cadence, filled with beautiful music and sound, and vacuum, silence, as it heads down to the void. Earth goes up to diamond, and then down to dust, and fire becomes radiance, or it heads down to ash. So when a god ascends, and they have enough of a following to build a place of power, they will establish a place of power in one of these sort of areas, and they will gain power from those areas. And that dictates the spell spheres that their followers have access to, because they're drawing power from those around them and then gifting them to their followers. So if I, there we go. So to give you an idea of what is in a spell sphere, here we go. So the aether spell sphere, I've only included the first tier of spells here, because otherwise it's there's a lot of spells. We've got all the way up to 7th, but the first tier gives you a good impression. So if you have access to the aether spell sphere, it means you, yes, it means you can
You started
cast,
something now.
I know, you can cast Bolster Ally, Decipher Languages, Mount Astral, Summon Ancestral, and Thaumaturgy. They're immediately available to you. You don't have to prepare them or anything like that. You've got access to that. You can spend a spell point. You can cast any of those. If you have access to air, you get those spells: Absorb Lightning, Befriend Animal, Lightning Orb, Lightning Strike, Resist Acid, Sling, Spark, and Wall of Fog. And you will note there, acid is typically a damage that's inflicted by earth. The air domain protects you against earth. The earth domain protects you against air. That's how it works. So if I was in the earth domain, I would have resist lightning instead of resist acid. So it kind of protects against the opposites. You have ways of protecting yourself against, lightning within air, but as standard, you kind of protect yourself against the opposite element. And if we go down, you can see you got cadence, you got fire, again, all these sort of spells. But what is the interesting one here? So diamond's all about protection, dust, inflict wounds, necrotize, withering touch, very, very evil stuff. You will note, first of all, most heroes won't get access to some of the really nasty spells like dust, spell spheres like dust, because they follow gods that are typically good. Some of the druids probably would, and some of the more nature-based ones might do. But typically, you're not going to have access to some of the really nasty, damaging spells.
Yeah, those are for your NPCs more than anything,
More than anything, yeah.
and they will come into play when we do the book. So you want to play the bad guys or whatever it is we end up calling it.
Yeah.
They will come into play then. But for rounding off, we've made sure that we include them within what we've done.
Yeah. And then there's certain classes that have their own spell sphere, and I've included 3 here. I haven't included the Inquisitor, but the Paladin, the Ranger, and the Witch. So right from the start, the Witch can do the Hex of Blinding and the Hex of Limping. So we talked about this. That's a hamstring condition. You hamper someone's movement or you blind them. And blindness with an Untold Destiny, everything becomes shadowy and murky around you. So you can still see around you, but you can't see details. And if 2 people are fighting, you wouldn't be able to see which one's your ally and which one isn't. So it's that kind of a, you can see, but really not very well. It's not absolute blindness. You can't see, and people can run rings around you. You can see, but your vision is severely hampered. And you'll begin to see now where the flavor of the classes come in. So the ranger has very different spells to the witch, and very different to the paladin. So jump, nature stealth, true shot, and vicious weapon. Very nature based. The paladin has 3 sets of holy halos and a holy strike as standard, in addition to any other spell spheres that they may get from their god. So paladins use, one of the themes we went for were halos. So a paladin can cast a halo. This beam of light comes around their head and they project power around them. A halo of protection means anybody within that aura is allowed to spend stamina to add a d6 to either a dodge or a parry test. So you're better able to protect yourself. Halo of restoration at the start of the round, if you're within the halo, you get to restore hit points. Halo of retribution is if you're hurt with an attack, you get to inflict damage back on the person who hurt you, so long as they're within the halo. So the idea with the paladin is you can swap these halos out in and out during combat. It's a swift action to cast the halo, and I've seen that used to good effect. I think Vicky, you started with a halo of, no, yeah, you started with a halo of protection, didn't you? And then went to a
Yeah.
halo of restoration when breath weapons were coming out and damaging the entire party. And I think it saved a lot of party members from getting wounds.
It is quite nice indeed, and I just want to highlight something here. So Savage Brisky said, "Well, no nasty damaging spells." Well, Tim the Enchanter is out, but Savage Brewski, we did all the wizard spells and everything about enchantment last week. So yes, we have got a full set of spells for your enchanter, and they can do some really cool stuff. So no, Tim the Enchanter is definitely back, but he's not a cleric.
Oh yes, and there we go. Yeah, if you got alchemy,
Of course, yes.
yes, you can make up for it.
Yes, you can. So yeah, you can make your holy hand grenades. I never thought of that. Dav, thanks. Yes, we should have put all bunny rabbits on the screen and everything.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So that is spell spheres in their kind of the way we've put them together. If you've played second edition, you'll be very familiar with the concept of spell spheres. But I just wanted to put a lot more logic around them and make them easier to kind of apply to gods and for followers to choose which spell spheres you got access to. If you're playing someone like a paladin or a ranger, whichever god you follow, you get your own spell sphere and you get to choose 2 of theirs, and then that's your spells. And this means that 2 paladins, even following the same god, can be very different from each other depending on the additional spell spheres that they select.
Yeah. And that's one of the beauties, isn't it? Because you've got your devotions, because you've got your bonus features, when you tie it all together, it means that I could create a paladin and Paladin Steve could create a paladin, and they would be completely different from one another,
Yeah.
because you can just refine it to really fit your imagination, which is
Yeah.
what I love.
And that's before you even start to look at martial abilities and how you tailor that, because your bonus features spent on martial abilities. Are you going big two-handed? Are you going shield? Are you there's so many options you can go down. So
Absolutely.
we've covered spell
Absolutely.
spheres, which leads us nicely into
Gods.
So
Make
we
it
got to
bit
have a
bigger.
look.
Bigger,
Make a
bigger,
bit
bigger.
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 Bigger again?
Yay. No,
No,
that's fine.
that's it. That's fine. So we got 2 gods here. And one is Raphael, the god of knowledge. The other one is Artemis, the god of the hunt. If you note, I've used the original spelling of Artemis. You will note that each religion has a keyword or keywords. And on the one side, we've got holy and organized. And on the other side, we've got holy and nature. And this is the only area where alignment, as in the 9-step alignment, actually kind of features in Untold Destiny. There are two sides to religion. The first one is the religion's view of good and evil, and that's holy, neutral, and evil, or profane. We call it holy, neutral, profane. And the second one is how organized or chaotic they are, lawful and chaos. And that's organized nature being just a natural, and then chaotic. So a religion or a god will tend to be in one of these areas. If I want to play a paladin, I can only have a god who is holy and organized, lawful and good. And that's the closest we get to alignment. And I think we've had many discussions on things like talking in the library with Jack, where we talked alignments. And I've said there, alignments only have a place when it comes to religion, because religion's all about that kind of adherence to certain codes and principles. And it's a very strict kind of outlook on life. When it comes to characters, characters shouldn't have alignments. It just frees up the ability for the player to role play the character as they see fit. So we've covered the keywords. We covered the tenets now, which are, as you can see, they are kind of bullet pointed. They're not designed to be incredibly restrictive, and they are designed to be slightly open to interpretation. And that's not to make the GM's task harder when it comes to breaking. I think you will know when a player's broken a tenant. This isn't to get the minor infractions and stuff. It's to give the player freedom to have a bit of flexibility when they're following a god. And then the religion will tell you what spell spheres that god has access to. So Raphael has Aether, Air, Cadence, Diamond, Radiance, and Verdant. And as a cleric, you get to choose 4 of those. So again, you can't get all of them. You only get a splattering, and once they're chosen, they cannot be changed. If we have a look at Artemis, Aether, Air, Earth, Verdant, and Water, so very nature-based. There's only 5 there. I need to add another one to Artemis. Just make a note.
Just highlighting here that this is all pre-editing stuff that you're seeing on screen here.
Yes.
So we have, well, we're mid-editing the adventure at the moment, and then the books are the next thing that are fitting into editing. So yeah, so you're seeing pre-edited stuff on screen, but we have been playing around with our layouts, haven't we?
We have been, which is what you're seeing here, and I do like the layouts. I think it's very readable. It's very good. You've now got your allowed weapons. So we've got weapons and weapon groups, and so it's very clear to see what kind of weapon you can and cannot use. And we stayed away from, you can't use any non-blunt weapon. It's very clear. It's spears or blades or axes or hammers or projectiles or throwing is its own thing. So you might be able to use blades, but you're forbidden from throwing a weapon, in which case you can't use throwing dagger, or you can use a throwing dagger in melee, but you can't throw it. So picking up a weapon that is banned, is not allowed, is an instant infraction on your tenant, and will be the kind of first step to you losing your powers. And then finally, and this is an important one, devotions. So these are the devotion bonus features that your god gives you access to. And for here, it's invoke power, justice, and knowledge. And we're going to touch on what exactly that means. Everybody gets invoked power where their invoke power can be upgraded. Otherwise, it's 2 others. The invoke power is our replacement of the kind of turn undead ability. And it's to give you that the special power of your god that you can invoke. With Raphael, and this has been used really effectively in a couple of our playtest campaigns, it's the ability to, after spending
Dav,
a minute...
wasn't it?
Sorry?
Dav.
That was Dav.
It was Dav.
Yeah, his Inquisitor gained access to knowledge share, and where you had to use horses to really go through pouring rain and get somewhere fast. Dav, that was to get up to Farnborough to protect them from an orc attack. Dav's Inquisitor used share knowledge. You were playing your Crusader at the time, which had incredibly good beast handling.
I was a master. I was a master.
And that skill got shared amongst the rest of the party. So all the parties suddenly became masters on horses, so long as they kept close to the crusader. And that knowledge share, I think, is fantastic. When we look
It's
at
nice.
Artemis, yeah, it is nice. Artemis has a kind of hunter's mark ability that dovetails beautifully with the ranger, or if you're playing a cleric, it gives you that kind of ranger ability. And it's lovely. It means you can keep up with creatures that are trying to run away from you. You can sense where they are, so even if they're invisible, you know exactly where they are. It they still get the bonus of being invisible, but you know which square to attack. Um, and these invoke powers give you another sort of dimension when you look at your gods. We got another two that I'm going to quickly move on to. And again, whoop, that's a bit too much. Is that too much there?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So the two we've got here, Hrothgar, the god of crafts and mining, one of our dwarven gods. And you can see the keywords are neutral, so not holy or profane, and organized. So they have a semblance of organization. Again, some good tenets that they must follow. One of the most important ones here being when your family call for aid, you will answer, and typically your family is your clan. So if you're away and you get a message from your clan, that message could be months old, 3, 4, 5, 6 months old because of the time it takes things to travel. And you need to, at that point, pretty much go, right, guys, we got to go home. The clan needs me. I must go back and defend or help or do whatever. Again, you got your allowed weapons, and again, you got your spell spheres, allowed weapons, and devotions. And you can see the devotions there: combat, crafting, quite apt, and invoke power. Across the other side, before we look at the invoke powers, there's been a lot of talk about drinking and partying, and well, Herv is your god, the god of music and laughter, a neutral, chaotic god, because no matter how much organization you put, once the party starts, it just falls into chaos. And again, Herv came around during the dark times after the Ashfall, and his job was like a chief morale officer. It was just to lift people's spirits and to remind people what they were fighting for. And he became an icon. Doing that, gained a lot of followers and ascended to godhood.
I quite like all of the sort of discussion around like Ozzy Osbourne and stuff like that, because when you think about what our gods are, which are people who've ascended, you know, it could be the essence of Ozzy Osbourne who's been reborn time and time again until eventually has reached ascension. You never know.
Yep. So we looked then at, and to give you an idea of the kind of uniqueness of the invoke powers, Hrothgar has sense weakness, which when the invoke power comes up, it lasts for 5 rounds. So when an invoke power is up, it can't be invoked again. The duration has to run its course, and then it can be invoked afterwards. Costs you stamina to do that. But it gives um, any weapon they wield the breacher keyword. So breacher is an ability that typically heavy blunt weapons, warhammers, mauls, stuff like that have, where when you hit armor, an armored person or a creature with armor, you hit it in a way that you disrupt the armor, you cause a breach in the armor, you knock it out of place, or with the creature, you kind of crush some of the scales, opening up a soft area of the creature that can be attacked. And it gives them a big penalty to their armor. Their brace tests. So you can do that with like a dwarven battle axe or something like that, a weapon that isn't typically suited to breaching because you sense the weakness of the armor or the weakness of the creature. Whereas Herv, I think Herv's one is quite a unique one.
It's cool.
Yeah, for 5 rounds, you have the sound of the festival can be heard by anybody within 60 feet of you. So talking of music. And then at the start of each round, whilst the power lasts, one ally you can see that does not already have a festive token gains a festive token. And the token will last until the rest is taken or you use the power again. And that token can be used when making a skill test or a saving throw to grant a boon to the test. Must be declared before the dice is rolled. So you use it to gain a boon. It's Herv handing out boons effectively. So we've got some really interesting things. There's, I'm trying to think. Kiriran, I think it is. She does animal spirits. So she's a nature deity. You summon up animal spirits, and you can send the spirits to either hamper your foes or aid your allies. So we got these invoke powers, which really provide another uniqueness. However, the big thing you've got is these devotions, and what we're going to do is move on to devotions.
I like devotions. Devotions are great. And we haven't gone through bonus features with you guys yet. And I think that's probably going to be sort of next week. I think let's go through bonus features, because then we're sort of heading heavily towards character creation.
Yeah.
But yeah, bonus features is really quite interesting. And these are bonus features that you can take where you've taken a cleric or one of the sort of classes that look to a god.
Yeah. So I'm a dwarf of Hrothgar, or I've got access to the combat bonus devotions, or I follow Seraphina, who's the goddess of warfare. When I'm purchasing my bonus features, I gain access to the ones listed here. So I could spend a bonus feature and gain battle power, which allows me, when dealing damage, to spend stamina and add 1d10 to my damage. So my damage becomes
I use
better.
that.
You've used that, and it's fantastic because um, you can do that, and I believe you can then holy strike on top. So you're using a
Yeah.
stamina, a spell point, and you're just pumping your damage up. And
At that point, I've got 2d10. So at the moment, I think it's 1d8 plus 3d10 when I do that, because
yeah,
I get the 1d10 from my strength, my
d8
weapon
from your
dice.
weapon. Yeah,
Yep. And then 2d10, one from battle power, one from holy strike, as long as I spend the stamina and the spell point.
yeah, and they can disappear quite quickly for you, especially when you're
Yeah,
being
they can.
attacked. Yeah. Yes. You've got the enhanced weapon damage. So this is designed for the clerics of Seraphina and Hrothgar, where the bonus damage dice is automatically given to martial characters. If you're following one of these martial gods, you get a kind of lesser version of that, where at 10th level, you can purchase this. So it's costing you a bonus feature, but you gain access to another archetype's ability, albeit not as powerful as the other class, but you begin to dip into that. And this is what makes these bonus features really unique. They give you some, not game breaking, but they give you some bonus features and abilities that bend the rules in your favor. If I just scroll, I did that.
I see, it's not just me,
Yep.
guys.
And it continues with things like sacred offense, sacred weapon, and then the crafting. You get things like beast of burden, the crafter's care, dedication to crafting. So you've got all these themed bonus features that enhance what you can do, or give you additional benefits, or allow you to do stuff that's normally not permitted by your class, because your god is devoted to those areas. And I think so far, I know Dav is over the moon. He's playing a druid right now, and he absolutely loves his bonus features. And I think when I put them in, the customization you now have with our priests and our clerics and any religious character is incredible. I just think yeah.
Got a
How done?
question.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm sure I've asked at least twice already, but other than art and formatting, how done is UD? It is done.
Well,
We
okay.
oh, let me finish. Right, so we have got all the rules done. We've written the adventurer's guide, so that is complete. So we are in editing with the adventurer's guide, and Dean is currently writing the game master's grimoire.
Yeah.
Now, when I say done, yes, we're doing writing on the game master's grimoire, but all of the rules are complete. Everything, we've got all the classes complete. We've got some follow-on classes, because we've got another archetype that will be coming out at a later stage. So so yeah, everything within Untold Destiny, the rules are now set because he's not allowed to make any more changes because I've told him he can't.
I've snuck a
Um,
additional
you,
bonus
you,
features in.
yeah. So all of the core rules are done. The Game Master's Grimoire, I think it's fair to say, is more around your writing guidance for games masters, stuff that applies to Untold Destiny, but also applies if you're starting out as a GM. So all of the stuff in the Games Master Grimoire, um, linked in with what we've got, the Adventurer's Manual, will give you everything you need to start role playing Untold Destiny, even if you've never picked up a role playing game before.
Yeah.
Is that fair enough, Dee?
That is, and the GMG will also have all your classic tables, weather tables, random
Treasure
tables, treasure
tables.
tables. We're going down the route of using treasure types on creatures. So a creature you defeat may have treasure type A, and within the GMG, you got this lovely table, and treasure type A may be roll 2d8 pennies, and that's what the creature's got. So this is a great way of just being able to do the treasure. As we've already said, I think this was on Sunday, wasn't it? We were asked the question of how tight the economy is within Untold Destiny. The economy as it stands, you do not find huge piles of gold and stuff like that lying around. It is quite a tight economy. You will generally start to get more money as you go up the levels because your reputation is getting better. You're able to go into more dangerous areas. You're being paid more because you're better skilled, just like it is in real life. But that isn't going from like being paid 10 gold a day to 100 gold a day to 1,000 gold a day. It'll be being paid 10 to 12 to 13 pennies a day, and so forth. So the economy is tight. So the treasure tables reflect that. So a lot of creatures, the treasure tables will be fine. They're not going to be like the second ed tables where you're rolling a d8 and multiplying it by 10,000. They're going to be realistic numbers.
Yeah,
But yeah,
because we don't want adventurers walking into a town and basically breaking the town's economy.
no,
You know, it is a it is, I would say, it's a gritty system. It's grounded in reality, but it's also got the high fantasy sort of wrap. It's And I think that's one of the key things that I found with Untold Destiny is I enjoy playing it because it feels like the books I used to read.
yeah,
It doesn't feel like a cartoon, um, where you're all sort of Marvel characters and everything just feels shiny, and no, it doesn't. It feels gritty, it feels real, and it feels like you've got a challenge. And you have to make sure that you're bringing the money, and you have to make sure that you're adventuring for a reason, and it
mm,
works out really well. So yeah, the core rules are all done. The book is largely written, as I said. The reason I say largely written is because the editing is taking some time. um, it does take a bit of time for us to do the editing because we're just basically polishing as we go as well. So we will be doing at least 2 rounds of editing on the back of that. But yes, it's all written. Dean's
yeah.
been writing this book for how long now, Dean?
Oh, it's been, concerted effort, probably over 3 years to do this, but
Yeah.
this is with all the changes we've been making. The bulk of the book was written in about 6 months, and then it's been the tweaking, alterations, the refinement that has taken the rest of that time. So everything's going to flow much better then into the adversaries and allies, which are your creatures and henchmen, and a lot better into the GMG.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and for us as well, it's the first time that we've done some of this stuff. So some of it's taken us a bit longer than we thought.
yeah.
Um, just learning layouts is taking a bit of time.
Oh, it has.
Um, yeah, me doing editing around working, that's jolly good fun. Um, but yeah, it's all coming together. Ooh, I'm going to show this one. So yeah, Dav is actually one of our play testers. So I love the emphasis is on crafting and or enchanting your own powerful gear rather than finding a +1 sword and a goblin chief.
Yes. You will
Yeah.
still find magic out in the wilds, but your main
Got
route to increasing and enhancing your gear is to harvest the
things,
materials from creatures you,
materials.
yeah, from creatures you defeat. So they took on some crystal lizards on Sunday, and these are earth elemental creatures. And when defeated, their earthen bodies turn black, but with rock hounding tools, the official name of these tools, designed to cut through rocks and extract any gems and precious materials. I think you found a load of uncut gems, semi-precious gems, so they need to be
Yeah,
polished and cut to make them really valuable. And you also found some mithril,
we
about two
did.
pounds worth.
Was it two or 3 pounds? It was quite nice. I got very
It was,
excited about finding mithril
yeah.
until I found I couldn't actually make a suit of armor from it yet because I need more.
No, you need
So
a lot.
what
You
an
need about
what
15 pounds of mithril to make a suit of a full plate. That is.
sorry, I'm going to go around and I'm going to find more of those creatures. Yes.
Yes,
Sounds
but
like
that
fun.
the item creation system is designed to work fluidly with the whole system and provide another means of upgrading gear, because you're going to be finding bits and pieces in the wild, but it's not going to be, you know, defeating a wyvern, big adult wyvern, and finding 10 magic items and 10,000 plus gold and all of that. It's going to be a lot more measured, a lot more reduced. However, you kill an adult wyvern, you skin it, do it really well, you're getting dragon hide, and dragon hide is a +2 material, so you can make a really good suit of armor from that nice leather armor. It's also dragon hide can also be used to make plate armor and stuff like that. It's so rigid, it can be used for metal armors on as well. So yep.
So lots going on. So yes, so
Mm.
I think that covers off
Yeah,
how far we've got with the books.
it does. I just want to cover one thing on devotions before we then wrap up, and that is to
Yes.
show just how much devotions can alter the way your character works. So we've got the earth devotion here. And earth devotion is your only means of being able to summon an earth elemental at 15th level, as long as you purchase that bonus feature. It also has the one underneath is inflict acid. And this works with summon creatures. So at first level, you could buy inflict acid. You've got access to Earth sphere spells, which include the spell Summon Beast. So you can summon beasts to help you. They're sort of like spiritual versions of normal beasts. And when you do that, because you got Inflict Acid, you can say the beast comes up dripping with acid. And whenever it deals damage, you can then just spend your stamina to make it deal acid damage plus a d6. And it's this thematics that should really, so your bonus features alter how your character appears or how your character works or operates or what your character does. It provides that level of flavor as well as a mechanical difference. So yeah, I really do. Of all the bonus features, the devotion, excluding legendary bonus features, the devotion bonus features are the most powerful. Yeah, we'll have to cover
So
legend at some point as well.
yes, well we're actually so next week we're going to go and talk about bonus features and actually walk everybody through all the different types of bonus features, what sort of things that we can do with them. So that's next week. And then the week after, we're going to start character creation, and we have our first guest on for character creation, which is really exciting. So I'm
Yep.
really looking forward to that. Um, so when I look at Untold Destiny, the one thing we're doing is we're releasing the adventure first.
I thought Dav would be do that. It was Dav's suggestion, the inflict bonus feature. And I think that's brilliant. Running a fire-based hawk using the raptor summons is fantastic.
Nice.
I
So
like it.
yes, we're just finishing off. So the way that we're doing this, we're not putting out the main books first, and the reason for that is we want to actually establish the fact that we can deliver for people, so that they know that when they accept something from us, that they will get it. So we are finishing off the adventure. Once the adventure's finished, and that'll be available for everyone, and that's completely complimentary, including all the fantastic artwork we've got for it,
Yeah,
which I'm really
it's only the
chuffed with.
first part of the adventure, the overall
Yeah,
campaign, or box set or whatever you want to call it. It's only the
the
first
the
part of that.
box. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's the first box. part of the box set to give you that flavour. All right. And to be honest, though, it's what, about 10 sessions worth, was it?
Yeah, it depends how quickly you go through it, but it can be between eight and 10 sessions, with the good bit of role play and stuff like that. Yeah.
There we go. Do we have a player reference sheet to go with asking with the character sheet for those who are currently playtesting a bare bones rule set without the GM info? Our playtesters actually got given the whole rules. I think, if I remember rightly, we gave them
The
access to the whole
playtesters
rules.
did, and
Yeah.
we had Dav can confirm, but his son, using the rules with only a little bit of help, created a character, no problems. With the adventure, we will be handing out a rules of play. So it's going to have all the character creation stuff kind of taken out, but it will just be mechanically, how does the game work? How can you run the game? There will also be a GM's section, which goes into a little bit more detail around skills and adjudication. But that will be it. And we're then planning to put out a condensed character creation set, which is a cut down version with the 8 classes you get pre-gen, so you can create your own characters. We're having to be careful because obviously we can't give everything away, but we need to give enough away to give you all an idea as to how the game works, what you can do with it, to hopefully get you fully on board, and to build our following. Because once we got a good following of people who go, yes, we love the game, we want to buy it, we can then look at the Kickstarter side of things, to just get the artwork. And we will do the Kickstarter once the books are done, so that you're not going to be a year down the line and not having anything delivered to you. Because I know there's been a few Kickstarters of late that have just dragged and dragged, and I don't want to be. I find that quite rude. To be honest, if you're promising to deliver something, make sure you can deliver it.
See, when they're only doing 4 or 6 character levels. I mean, geez. Don't get me started. I will rant.
4 or 6 character levels. I know. I laughed at that. I laughed, but they had a huge backing. People knew what they were backing. People knew exactly what they were backing, and they backed it anyway.
Yeah. Well, we're not bitter, are we? No, not bitter at all. No. So, have we thought about running an adventure during Dungeon Delvers? I can't remember what that stands for, but yes, I do believe. I do believe that Dungeon Delver had reached out to us, and we'd agreed to do that. And I can't even remember when it is. So
I'm trying to remember. It's towards the end. I thought it was October time. I thought it was around there.
I can't remember where it is, but yes, we have said we'll do that. And we've said that we'll even run adventures at different times so that we can fit in with different time zones.
Yeah.
And look, and Dav has just confirmed, yes, he not only created a character, but the way you do so in UD helped him give a real sense of that character, their story and personality. It works so well. There you go. Thank you, Dav.
Thank you, Dav. Right.
Okay.
It is 12:20. It's in April. Oh, so just around the corner. Brilliant. But yes,
I need to make sure I put that on our calendar.
Yeah, please do. The Delver has reached out, and we said we would love to support him and run something during that time. So yes,
we love Dungeon Delver.
Oh, he's a great guy. Really good supporter of the hobby. Yeah. Right. Almost 20 past midnight. And I think we've talked enough about priests, their spell spheres and devotions. I hope it gives you an indication of just how rich a character you can create.
Any other questions before we wrap up? You want to. See, I get all excited then, and I won't sleep. No, work in the morning.
You got to work in the morning. I got to prepare for... I got to tame some weird and strange creatures ready for talking in the library. I'm not too keen on the one that Steve's put forward. I can't even see the bugger. All I can see is these like eyes and teeth.
Yeah, talking in the library will be fun.
It will.
All right. So if there aren't any other questions, we are going to look at wrapping up now. Look, we again, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for coming along. Dean, can you stop sharing now?
I can stop sharing. Yes.
Just press the buttons. Yeah,
There we
thank
go.
you from the bottom of our hearts. We absolutely love the fact you guys come along and listen to us witter on and me not be able to put in a share. What is the speed of it? Yes, thank you very much,
African
Dan.
or European?
Ah. Yes,
Mm.
that just reminds me of when we were in the Arthurian Society, Dean.
We watched that film how many times?
We used to have to watch it every semester, the beginning of the
Along with
semester.
Excalibur.
Yeah, we used to watch Monty Python and the Holy Grail and Excalibur.
Yeah.
Those were the rules. Very important rules.
Oh yes.
We enjoyed that. That was good fun. Dean used to wear leather trousers.
Mm. Mm.
Oh dear. Those are the days.
Those are.
Ah.
Anyway, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for turning up. I hope you enjoyed it. Next week, we'll be talking about bonus features, how you take a class and customize that class to your tastes and the various options. It sounds overwhelming, but it's really straightforward once you've read through the options. And I may even have some of the pre-gen characters as examples for us to talk through then for the adventure. So you can have a look at that. But in the meantime, if you are available tomorrow, around about what time is it? 9 o'clock our time. So
9 and I'm not doing math this time of night.
no,
Morning.
but it's I think it's about we'll
It's
let you know
whatever.
on Twitter.
Yeah,
But the
yeah.
talking in the library is all about the weird sorry. Talking in the library is all about the weird and strange creatures of tabletop. So we're gonna have got a good panel together. We're gonna have a good discussion about those. So if you are free, feel free to join us.
And I'll be sharing stuff, so that's gonna go well.
You will. I'm gonna sit down and actually go through that with you because
No, you know what you're going to do? You're not going to name everything Destiny's Dispatch, are you?
It's just the way it got exported. Anyway, thank you very much. Good night all, and we shall see you anon.